Hello.
Hello, and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is our annual StashDash episode.
Yep.
So for those of you who don't know, this is our 6th official year doing StashDash. StashDash is our annual summer competition to basically use up as much stash or finish some whips or basically make it work for you. There's a goal setting element, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So StashDash is a virtual dash to use up stash and finish some whips. Crafts included in StashDash are knitting, spinning, crocheting,
weaving,
tatting, loom knitting.
What knitting? Oh,
Loom.
I thought you said limb knitting.
Loom. Well, we have a cheat sheet right there. And machine knitting. So you can use any of those.
Would that include circular sock
yes,
machines?
that totally includes that. So Amy Florence, you crank away, my friend. So all of that is included. This year we're going to have the same levels as last year. They were 1 kilometer, 3 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 7 kilometers, 10 kilometers, and 15 kilometers. You can always set your goal higher or lower than that, but just like we could do a 1K and below and 15K and above. That's what I'm thinking.
A common grouping
yeah.
for people with the same general goals.
And you're going to set one goal. So if you, that was one of the questions we got this year. So if you have 2 big crafts that you participate in, like spinning and knitting, or crocheting and knitting, and you want to set goals for both of those, let's say your knitting goal is going to be 7K and your spinning goal is going to be 7K, then maybe put it in that 10K, but just know that you have in your mindset that 14K. You can notate that down below in your little post if you so choose. So the timeline of this crazy mad world is, we will start the 25th of May. That's my last day to work. I'm a teacher, if you don't know. We get a lot of people who participate in StashDash that have never watched the show before, which is super fun. So I'm a teacher, and the 25th of May is my last day. The 2nd of August is my first day. I was
going to say, for those of you who are like, man, that's early.
But StashDash will run until the 27th of August, which is Pearl, who's my puppy's adoption day. That way I can keep it kind of straight in my head. So we are giving y'all an extra week this year. There will be different finish line threads like we talked about earlier, and there will also be a chatter thread so people can chit chat and talk as much as you want to, and that's also a great place to ask questions. If you do have any questions, I try to get in there and I try to read in there consistently, but we have some other events that go on this summer, and I have some travel planned for this summer, so if you would hot link me on Ravelry, I'm Lala on Ravelry, that way I will make sure that I see it and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Each level does have its own finish line. Once you declare yourself by posting in a finish line thread, we ask that you stick to it. If you want to use this as a motivational game, you can start posting on your goal level from day 1. Otherwise, you can wait a couple weeks. Some people wait until the end until they see what they've accomplished. That's what Leslie does. I am always 15K.
And she's always the first post.
I am, because I'm the person who sets it up, and I can do that. What I would do if I was y'all is I would favorite that post. That way
your post. Yeah,
your post. Not my post. I mean, you're welcome to favorite my post as well. But if you favorite your finish line post, it makes it super easy to get back to and figure out where it is. And then you edit that post. That was something that was up for a rule change discussion, but in the end, it was decided that everyone's going to keep one post. You can edit it. What my friend Jessica does, which is really, really smart, is she posts once a week within that one post, and she takes one picture of everything that she's finished for that week.
Or you could make a collage of several pictures into one image.
Or this year, we'll allow you to link back to a project page. So if you have a project page with photos and you just want to link back to that, you can do that.
Your project page.
Yes.
You have to have made it. You can make it for someone else, totally fine, but you have to have made it.
Leslie keeps me on track.
Well, it's because if I'm thinking, how can I cheat the system as you're talking? So
this is basically our friendship in a nutshell. I don't even know what we're talking about. Okay, so you have your one post. You can edit it to add more projects, and I always post a sample finish line post at the beginning of the year to show people what it's supposed to look like. Okay, so the frequently asked questions
of this completely made up imaginary online.
You don't even get points for this one.
Yeah, it's just bragging rights in your own little head.
And finished stuff.
Well, yes, but the idea behind this that originally started was Laura is a teacher, has the summers off, and she really wanted to power through some projects.
Yeah,
and it started with she wanted to get through 50 skeins of yarn or something.
And I did. It was 50 skeins of cotton, the Taki Stacey Charles, and I knit it into a giant log cabin blanket.
Whose ends got woven in by someone else eventually. Years later.
Like years later. And I think the only reason they got woven in is it had to be laundered, and I couldn't put it in the laundry without the ends woven in. So anyway, that was the original StashDash, and then we've had 6 years. This is the 6th year since. Okay, so frequently asked questions. Can we count things towards StashDash so that we finish before May 25th? No. You have to at least do some form of the craft that works on it. If you're knitting, you can knit a row or bind off. If you're spinning, you can ply, unless you're keeping on plied, or you can spin some of the singles. If you're weaving, hem stitching does count for this, because I feel like that's the binding off.
Yeah.
So hem stitching or twisting fringe, both of those are much more time intensive than just...
But what if I just want to add a zipper to something that's already been knitted?
So that was one of the rule changes this year that did not go through. So every year, if you're brand new to StashDash, this is it is my thing, but it's also y'all's thing. It's a community thing, and we're big on community. So people propose rule changes, and sometimes they work, and sometimes they don't. I feel like we should have a sad trombone. So,
a friend of ours who has a popular podcast.
Yes, Jasmine of the TheKnitGirlls. She does a lot of finishing, and her finishing and my finishing are on much different levels.
Jasmine's is, it's exquisite.
It's very well done. Very detailed, and takes a lot of time because it is well done. So she proposed a rule change that finishing, like adding zippers or buttons or zippers, buttons, grosgrain ribbon would count in some form of yardage, and sadly that did not make it this year. So finishing does not count. You have to do some form of the crafts.
Now, with that in mind, we do have people who play this game who save that last row of a project and have a pile of projects waiting. And then on that, the day that it starts, they bind off all these projects, and immediately the yardage from all those projects, no matter when you started, it gets counted. So that's totally fine.
It's whatever works for you. But at this point, just finishing, just seaming, or buttons, or zippers, or grosgrain ribbon does not count towards StashDash. There was talk of us doing a finishing.
Like
no, I don't want along. Yeah, like a finishing along later in the year, and that's definitely something we can think about.
Yeah, maybe in time for the holidays.
Yeah. So that's the end of that.
A finish along in the fall.
After we do craft all the things.
After craft all the things.
We stay a little bit busy, y'all. But only from May until December.
Well, and then
the rest of it we're done.
Then it's like when you have a kid, you have to forget for a while.
Aww. Okay, so next frequently asked question. Do we use yards or meters to track our progress? We use meters, the whole kilometer thing, just because racing and they do it in meters. Also, that makes it super friendly for overseas participants. Ravelry will auto switch things from yards to meters for you.
Or you can just type in a Google address bar. You can just say convert 1,000 yards to meters, and it'll pop right up and tell you.
So that's pretty easy. I have a ton of blanket squares that just need seamed. Can I count them? Only if you do a little knitting, crochet, tatting, weaving, spinning, or plying left to do on it. If you have a bind off or more left, or if you're crocheting your squares together, cool. In this case, just seaming or kitchening will not count. When does yarn become stash for StashDash? Yarn becomes stash for StashDash the second it enters wherever you store your yarn. So it can be
your trunk
of your car, a freezer,
your purse,
your house, apartment, complex in which you reside, your work.
Possession.
Yeah. So this isn't we're not buying type.
Because really,
I don't know if you've met us before.
Plus, we host an event that we get a little bit of early shopping time to.
Yes, we do.
We would never be able to stick to it.
That's true. So it's not a stash down. It's just to use up as much as you want. I need to scroll down because I can't see.
And that's really just justification for us to
purchase more stuff.
Scroll down.
You didn't scroll down fast enough or far enough. All right. What happens if you don't finish an object? You have to finish it for it to count. You can count single items, like if I finish a single sock, but
if you finish the body of a sweater but not the sleeves, you can't count the sweater.
Yeah, and you can count single blanket squares or hexapuffs if they're finished. Because I know there's a lot of
even
swaps
if
that go on.
Intended for a larger object,
Yeah.
if they're a finished item singly.
Yeah, because I can throw hexapuffs at people.
Could be considered a dog toy.
There you go, cat toy. Can I double dip or triple dip or quadruple? You dip with as many cows as you want, my friends. So as many things as you want to do.
Maybe in our first year we might have had time to go out and check your posts and make sure that you're not double dipping. There's no way.
We wouldn't do that anyways. And Boston Jen has her splash party, which is tons of fun as well.
Okay.
That she does in the summer months. Leslie's looking at me like I'm crazy.
Laura's much better at keeping up on podcasts than I am.
I also am on social media and someone else is not.
This is a fact.
Let's see what else. Can I count the meterage in my pom-pom fringe? Of course.
What about doubled yarn?
Doubled yarn. Are you seeing that? Oh, if I hold my yarn double, do I get to count it twice? You may count the total amount of yarn you use if it's doubled. That was a rule change last year. So whatever you use, you get to count. You can use the meterage that's listed in the pattern, or if you want to be super accurate, you can use a scale, which a lot of times I use more yardage than a pattern calls for. So for me, a scale is pretty essential. And scales are fairly inexpensive, but you don't have to have one in order to participate. You just do whatever works best for you. How do I measure spinning? This is a rule change this year. This is a big rule change. You measure the singles length in meters. If you finish the yarn as single, it's just your singles yardage. If you ply it, then you get to count plying. So if I did a 2-ply and it was 100 yards, I would get to count 300 yards.
Because you would spend ply number 1 of 100 yards,
ply number 2 of 100 yards, and then plying 100 yards. Yeah. So 300 yards. And if you guys have any questions or concerns about that, because spinning can be weird sometimes with different things, just let us know. Can I cast on new projects? Or only whips allowed? You can do whatever makes you happy. Both whips and new projects are allowed. Ooh, excuse me. If I rip back and reknit something, can I count the meters for the whole thing? Yep, even if you just rip back part of it. If I have a pair of something, like a pair of socks, and one's already done, and I finish the second one, I get to count both. Same for mittens. What else comes in pairs? Mittens, socks, gloves.
I don't know. Those leg warmers?
Leg warmers? What else?
I feel like I'm in 3rd grade and somebody called
arm warmers?
Yeah. Elbow patches? I don't know. If you finish a single item already that's part of a pair, you can count the pair when you finish
3.
It.
Some people knit 3 mittens for little ones in case they lose one. I'm sure we're missing something else. So let's go back to the rule changes. So the rule changes this year. There was the finishing, which sadly did not go. There was spinning yardage, which it's increased to be like Spinzilla, where you count the total yardage that is passed through the orifice. Oh, one thing, a big change that we're doing this year is we're not doing a big number of prizes at the end. What we're going to do instead is, as we scroll through, because we scroll through quite often, if we see something we like, we might gift you a pattern. So you want to make sure your wish list on Ravelry has some patterns on it, just in case.
And it might not be because it's absolutely amazing. Maybe it's just because you posted a funny picture, or you made a comment that was hilarious about why you created something. If you make me laugh, I'm probably going to give you something.
Also, we're doing a Hall of Fame this year where we're going to select some of our favorite projects and link back to them so that everyone can see them.
That's brand new. I did not know that.
That is brand new. I totally stole that from Harry Potter House Cup. They do that at the end of every month. Like, they go through and select their favorite projects for every class.
Oh, so we could do it on screen and show everybody.
Oh, we could totally do that too. Yeah, we could totally do like a special These Are Our Favorite StashDash Projects episode too. In addition to just putting them in like a Hall of Fame thread.
Yeah.
That'd be super cool. See, Leslie, she's good for some stuff sometimes.
Some stuff. Usually it's only, when you need your computer fixed.
Or I need to borrow your husband to fix something at my house.
Fact.
What else are we missing? With the posts, we're just going to keep it at one post, but you can also link to project pages or create collages of pictures. And that's about it, I think. I'm sure you guys have questions. If you have questions, you can contact me. I'm Lala on Ravelry. We already have a pre-chatter thread that's going to stay up until the 25th. On the 25th, I'll open a fresh new chatter thread because we'll be participating. I just dropped my knitting to the ground. And we'll also have the finish lines up, which is really, really cool. So that's exciting.
So if I could give people one piece of advice.
Ooh, what's your one piece of advice?
On, I feel like Neil, what's his face, with the sunscreen song.
I have no idea what you're...
One piece of advice for the future.
Oh, yes!
Wear sunscreen. Boz Luhrmann.
That was like huge in 99.
Oh, I know. I have it on my phone. I have a whole 90s hits. By the way, you should totally give me a name of 90s hits.
A graduation thing right here.
If I could give folks one piece of advice, it would be, seriously, this is a pretend online competition for points. Don't stress about it.
It's not even for points.
Yeah.
You don't get anything.
It's you're competing with yourself, and that is it. Do it for the joy of getting things finished and showing off, because everybody needs to show off their stuff.
Yeah.
Don't do it for... Don't let it stress you out. That is the thing to take home.
It's your job to stress me out, not the other way.
She can stress herself out all on her own.
I really need help with that.
But yeah, we love seeing what you guys create, and a lot of times as Laura and I are going through,
my queue grows so much.
Yeah,
and my favorites too.
Yeah, which is great, because then it's all sort of a circle, because you guys create great things which make us want to knit great things.
It's very inspirational.
That add things to our queue, so that then when the indie gift along comes around, we've got all these patterns in our queue
that we want to purchase, and then they're on sale.
Yeah. So
perfect.
Yeah, that's what I can think of. Don't let it stress you out. It's supposed to be fun. It will be fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great way for joining our community.
Yeah.
If you're just new to the podcast and have never watched an episode before, it's a fun way to join in.
Yeah. And if you are, this is pretty much par for the course. We just make it up as we go.
Always.
So, I think that's it. We hope you guys have a great StashDash. And, like Laura said, if you have any questions, hot link her on Ravelry. Lala. And...
So hard to remember.
I know. Or Gwen, she's another moderator of our group. You can
She'll just text me anyway.
Yeah. Well, but somebody will get a hold of you. That's the important thing. Anyway, thank you for joining our StashDash, and we hope you have fun this year.
Bye, y'all.